Fellas, week 3, another week of fun, another week of great matches all around, another week of friendly banter. It's great to be in the league, isn't it? We love this league. We'll do the normal thing, get into my recap, get into my predictions. We'll hear from the winner, hear from the loser of the week. I went 2-3 once again on predictions this week, bringing me to 5-10. The two games I got right were Sami and Sean and myself and Sky. Everyone else got you wrong. There were 2 trades that went down. We'll kind of get into that as well. I'm going to recap everything that went on. But first, let's hear from the winner of the week. I can't remember who it was this week, but it surely was someone who is very suave and devilishly handsome. So let's see what he has to say, huh?
Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Too busy enjoying my victory cup of coffee today. Thanks, Jared, for that wonderful introduction. Feels good to be a champion. Feels good to be a king. Something I wouldn't expect most of you to understand, and especially not Omar, since the first time we did this, he didn't send in a video. Sky, I beat you by a lot of points, brother. A lot of points. 158 is a lot of points to get hung on your head, huh? But most importantly, I outscored Omar. And that's what we need to remember is important in this league. Saquon, Kyron, Joe Burrow, thank you. Mike Evans, we're going to have a chat later. But everyone else, you're doing a great job on the team. I love all you boys. I love the chat. Keep it firing. And I'll see you again next week when I'm winner of week for the second week in a row.
Very eloquently put, Jared, and I love the outfit. I love what you got going on there. That's going to upset Omar a lot, which is really, that's what we do it for. We just love to upset that guy. On the other side of it, we had Jack scoring 80 points this week. And I tell you, friends, that's not a lot of points. Not a lot of points at all. Jack, what happened? You were 2-0. You said a lot of mean things to Char. I'd love to hear what you had to say about it.
Everything is bad and nothing is good. This was a rough week for me in fantasy this past week, as we all know, looking at the scoreboard. But overall, I'm confident in my position in this league and feel that we can keep things going forward. Going through the lineup, I think that there are some bright spots that are just brought down by a few specific terrible players that we're going to look to offload at a fair price to other people in this league. So be on the lookout for that. We'll start at the top. Anthony Richardson. That guy can make the best passes you've seen in your life and then not make the simplest pass of all time. Mixon's out. I don't know if he'll ever come back. I don't know the updates. That's a serious issue. We'll figure that out. James Cook. He was a bright spot. He was a good player. Devontae. He's terrible, man. He's terrible. I don't know what to do. If you want Devontae, hit me with a trade. Offer me dog shit, I'll probably accept it. Who's my other receiver? Jamar Chase. Great night last night. Tough day for the Bengals. Great win for the Redskins. Jane Daniels is the truth. Happy for my Skins fans out there. Jamar Chase is a beast. We're going down the line. I think I got Trey McBride at tight end. That's a fucking sell. That was supposed to be the pick this year. That's not coming through at all. Dallas defense let me down. My flexes, I don't even know what I'm doing there, man. Judy, I think, and who's the other guy? Ridley. I don't know. We're gonna look to fix that as well. I think Jalen Warren was in there week 1. We got wins the first 2 weeks, so we'll just continue it as we can. Overall, just want to say, happy to be competing. 80 points doesn't deter me. We were projected for like 57 going into Monday Night Football, and we came out with 80. I consider that a win, regardless of the win-loss. I don't care about who my opponent was this week. That's nothing to me. I'm just saying I'm happy the way my team competed. I have good pieces. We're going to continue this energy going forward. 2-1. One off week isn't going to hurt us. Quick shout-out to the fish behind us with the lights on. They're doing great. We have like 50 snails in there. Coming at you live from Arlington, Virginia, 12/22. God bless. Good night.
Everything is bad and nothing is good is a great way to talk about your fantasy team, Jack. I couldn't agree with you more there, brother. We'll jump right into Jack's matchup first since he kind of just hit on it. But yeah, 132.2 to Char, 80.28 to Jack. Really, his lone bright spot this week was Jamar Chase, who had 30 of his 80. Anthony Richardson can't make the throws that you need, and his defense got him negative 6 points. Which, if you are a math guy, which I'm not sure if you are, negative 6 is not good. Just gonna say that for sure. James Cook was solid, but other than that, no one else topped 10 points outside of Jamar and James Cook, 80 points. Not going to get it done ever. Char, 132.2. That was pretty solid for this week. I think he was fourth or fifth in scoring, so good enough to get a win. Definitely deserved it this week. Josh Allen with 30, JT with 26, Jahmyr Gibbs 16, DJ Moore 15. Rest of his team kind of falls off a little bit. Jalen Waddle is definitely hurt the most by the Tua injury. Bills defense was a great play, 14 points against the Jaguars. Tajay Spears was solid in his flex as well with 10 points. He'll be happy to get Evan Ingram back this week, hopefully, but maybe not. He's playing me this week, so we'll see. I think he just dropped the Ravens defense, or he's not rostering them, he's not playing them or something. They got the Bills this week. So Char gets the win, 2-1. He's in fifth. Jack drops all the way from second place to sixth with that loss. A lot of parity in the league. I'll kind of get into that after we go through all the matchups. Sean versus Sami. Sami, 149 points. He was the second highest scorer. Sami's in first place in the league, by the way. He has the most points scored out of everyone in the league. He's 2-1. We have no more undefeated teams. Sami's team's looking really good. He started off with a loss, and then he's been on fire the last 2 weeks, really because of Malik Neighbors. Dak with 30 points in the loss. Brees with 18. Dave Montgomery with 21. DK with 20. So Sami was the second highest scorer, and that's with Rashid Shaheen scoring 0 in his second flex. If he can get some action out of his second flex, he's going to be dangerous. He's obviously really wants to get Debo back as well, but neither here nor there. Sean, who did make a trade, which again I'll get into later, Sean scored 112, so that was good for the second lowest scorer this week, unfortunately for Sean. Not really any good performances. His best player was the Packers defense with 23. JJ with 20, who is no longer on his team. Diggs had 19. Brenton Strange, 9. Ramondre with 0.3. Sean was pretty much dead before the Sunday game started when, Ramondre, who's supposed to be one of your top 3 or 4 guys, scores 0.3 points. Never good for you, especially when Sean's team's already been ravaged with injuries. So Sean drops to 1-2. He's in 7th place. Sami up at 2-1. Here we go. Stern versus Noto. Stern got a lot of flack for his trade, which again I will get into. But if he wouldn't have made the trade, he wouldn't have won. So everyone can be nice to my friend Stern out here, and that's what happens when you trade with me. Everyone gets better. Noto, I had offered him a trade earlier. He said no. If he would have accepted that trade, he actually would have won. So Noto, that's what you get. That's what happens. Stern 124.68, Noto 113.68. Noto is the last winless team remaining. He somehow always sucks in this league. I don't know what it is because I know he's good in other leagues. Just this league can't do anything. Stern 124. He was led in scoring by his 2 new players, Chuba and Aaron Jones with 27 and 25 respectively. Zach Moss with 20 on Monday night. Mahomes with 16. Steelers defense with 11. Mark Andrews with the 0 burger. Didn't matter. He still got the win. Nico Collins was fine. 12 points in his loss. Davis Mills tried to force feed him 4 targets at the end. But Stern, maybe on the come up. We'll see. Noto, 113. Second lowest scorer. 0-3. Things are looking rough for him, for sure. He had Juwan Jennings score 46 points in his flex, and he still lost almost the second lowest scorer. So that should give you an inclination on what Noto's team is like this year. Raiders defense with -4. Andy Dalton, man, looking like a freaking legend out there. Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta combined for 7 points. Pittman's been really bad with Anthony Richardson in. Brian Robinson Jr. found the end zone, but nothing else besides that. Bijan with 13, which is fine, but a little underwhelming for what you get for your first round pick. Lamar and Jawan were really his only 2 bright spots. They had 70 of his 113 points, so over half his points combined just from those 2 people. Noto is in last, 10th place, 0-3. Stern, not in last anymore, is in 9th because of the point differential, but we'll get into that later. Omar and Log, this was a really good game. I got this one wrong, hand up, but Omar came back. He needed like 31 points combined between Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, and he got it almost from Rashee alone. Rashee with 29, Kelce with 7, enough to give Omar the comeback win when I thought he was going to quit fantasy earlier in the day. He was so mad with Amari Cooper. Let's look at Log's team first. A-Kane, pretty underwhelming, 8 points. Brock Bowers was 7. Not good out of those two. You get decent numbers. And then obviously the biggest disappointment for him this week was James Conner with only 3 points. Kyler underperformed as well. Amari obviously overperformed with 27. I think he had 2 touchdowns. And Sharbs with 25. I think Sharbs is basically done from a fantasy perspective if Kenneth Walker comes back, which I think he's training to come back next week. We'll see. Jets defense was also a good play. Log 128 points, which is fine. It's not like a great performance. It would have been enough to beat about half the league. So got a little unlucky playing someone good, but he was right in the middle of the scoring pack. So both of them sit at 2-1 now. Log's 2-1, third place. Omar's 2-1, fourth place. On Omar's team, he did just make a trade for JJ, which is a good trade. Again, I'll get into it. Rome Odunze balled out for him in his second flex, 23 points. Derrick Henry with 30. CJ Stroud was pretty bad in the loss at Minnesota. Tony Pollard and Tyreek only combined for 12. That's tough. I'm sure he's upset about that. Probably why I got rid of Tyreek. So yeah, that's that matchup. And then me and Sky kind of hit on in my winner of the week video. I really beat the brakes off of Sky this week. I was nervous the whole week. I think Sky's team looks great on paper, but he's sitting at 1-2. He's in 8th place. Jalen with 10 points, ETM with 12 points. His best player was Olave with 20, and then followed up by Singletary, CeeDee Lamb with only 8 points, and Godwin with 17. Godwin's been a great pick. This guy's bench balled out. Deontay with 26 on the bench. Dallas Goedert with 27 on the bench. Brock Purdy with 25 on the bench. So his bench is pretty good. He'll have some difficulties going forward about what he wants to do. But yeah, it is what it is, right? Well, on my side of the matchup, I kind of already talked on it. Mike Evans was pretty bad, but other than that, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good week all around. Drake London, 18, Saquon, 33, Jake Ferguson, 15, Amon-Ra, 20, Kyron, 31. Solid week all around for the boys. So, like I said, we'll get into kind of the 2 trades that happened over the last week. The first one being I gave up Aaron Jones and Chuba for Kyron, which people were upset about, but I get it. Kyron's good, but Stern needed some depth. He got Aaron Jones and Chuba. Both of them scored over 25, and he won because of it. I got Kyron, who was 30, who dropped a 30 burger on this guy's head, so he was very, very unhappy to hear that. And then yesterday, Omar traded Tyreek Hill and Kenneth Walker for Justin Jefferson. If Tyreek can get a quarterback again, I think that's a great trade for Sean, but as it is right now, Justin Jefferson's definitely the player to have on that, so I like it for Omar a lot. Kenneth Walker can never stay healthy. When he is healthy, he's great. We'll see. I get why both sides made it. Sean's a huge Packers fan too. So again, I get it. The standings are actually, they're shaping out pretty accurate. We have 6 teams that are 2-1, 3 teams that are 1-2, and Noto's 0-3. So everyone is very much still alive in it. I like this a lot. The 0.4 is actually pretty accurate. I think Sean's the only one out of the 1 and 2 teams who has scored more. So Sean's at 374 points. He has more points than Char and Jack, who are both 2-1, which is pretty on brand. Sky 339, he's a third to last, and then Noto 316. Stern has not broken 300 yet because he was really bad those first 2 weeks. Well, let's get into the matchups for this week, shall we? So we got our first matchup. Let me get my spreadsheet up so I can write these down too. Week 4. Our first matchup, we have Stern and Sean. Sean is about a 5-point favorite. I don't love the Tyreek trade for him right now because JJ's been playing so well. Maybe he gets Njoku back this week. Maybe Scary Terry punches into the lineup. They're both 1-2. Sean at 7th, Stern at 9th. I'm not going to say this is a must-win because we're only in week 4, but you definitely don't want to start 1-3 if you want a chance of making the playoffs. I think, Stern's being hurt by Mark Andrews more than anyone. It was his 3rd or 4th round pick. He's dropping 0 burgers. Tight end's already such a weak position. It's really hard when you use draft capital on that and then you also don't get any production out of it. I think Sean's team is probably better on paper, but I think Stern wants it more right now, so I'm going to pick Stern over Sean. And I would like to keep in mind that I am 0-3 on games involving Omar, Char, and Jack. Everyone else, I've gotten at least 1 of your games right. So we'll go from there. We got a 2-1 matchup. We got Jack versus Log coming up. Log is about a 10-point favorite, which makes sense because, again, Jack's team, everything is bad as nothing is good. Let's get into it once my screen loads. Here we go. Anthony Richardson. I will be really surprised if Jack plays Anthony Richardson this week. I think he will figure it out. I don't think it's going to be against Pittsburgh, candidly. We'll see if he pulls him. I don't know. He doesn't have another quarterback. He has Justin Herbert, who might not even be playing. Joe Mixon might be back for him this week. He has Rico Dowdle in his flex right now. Trey McBride's in concussion protocol. We got to monitor that to see if he plays. So Jack's team is kind of falling apart at the hinges right now. Logan's team, pretty solid. I mean, he's got Brock Bowers in over Kyle Pitts right now. It looks like he's starting Bucky Irving in his second flex, which is pretty crazy because he also has Rashad White, which was not looking like a great pick at this point. Log, I took him in another league, so I feel your pain there. Yeah, I think Omar's ranking for Log's team is that it somehow wins, but it isn't very good on paper. But I don't think either of these teams are true contenders at the end of the day. I'll say that. You can bookmark that. If either of you guys win the championship, I'll say hand up I was wrong, but I wouldn't pick either of these guys to be in the championship at the year end. But regardless of what I think about their playoff aspirations, I will be picking Logan to win this one, and that's what it's going to be. Sami the Juggernaut versus Sky. Sammy's in first, 2-1. Sky's in eighth, 1-2. Man, Sammy's team really turned it around after that first week loss. He's been on fire. He does not have Debo back this week. Dak looked good. He's playing the Giants on Thursday, so we're going to have a good inclination of how this game's going to look. Sky has CD, so that's a great game to watch for this matchup. I mean, Sammy's team looks fantastic, candidly. I don't know how good George Pickens is from a fantasy perspective right now because he's so boom or bust, but I mean, so is Rashid Shaheed. He got him a zero burger last week. So I think if Sami can figure out what to do with that second flex, he's probably going to be the team to beat this year. Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, obviously were huge risky picks, both being rookies. Both of them are looking like they're working out so far. Montgomery's very solid. Brees is awesome. Kittle, I don't know if he's getting him back this week. We'll see. He was a hamstring thing last week. Obviously, that's going to impact it. Sammy's about a 2-point favorite right now. Sky, projected for 132. Hurts, ETN, Singletary, CD. He's got Goddard in, which means he benched Kincaid. So Char's going to be upset about that because Char deserves him for some reason. He's got the Browns defense against Vegas, which is looking good. Sammy's defense he has the Texans against Jacksonville. Very good. This is probably my favorite matchup of this week. The matchup is awesome. I think I'm going to pick Sami here. And I'm 3-0 on Sami games. So that does not bode well for our dear friend Skyler. But that's what we're going with. And then we have Omar versus Noto. Dude, Omar, if you lose to Noto, man, you're never hearing the end of it from me. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There is a 0% chance that Noto is going to start the Raiders defense again. If Noto starts the Raiders defense again, Jack, you need to have a serious talk with him at 12-22 because that's just mismanagement. That's a crime. They're literally last in the league. They are averaging 0 points a game. Come on, man. Laporta, questionable ankle sprain. Jameson Williams, very boomer bust. Pittman's been bad. I've talked about his team already. His team's not good. It's really not. Omar's team looks much better than it did with the addition of Justin Jefferson. Kelsey obviously is a landmine. I don't know what he's going to do. He's kind of in this weird spot where, like, Kelsey was a second-round pick. He's not going to drop him. No one wants to trade for him. He feels like he has to start him, but he probably shouldn't. I don't know what to do. I'm happy I'm not a Kelsey owner. Derrick Henry looked really good. CJ Stroud will probably bounce back against Jacksonville this week. Rashee Rice has been a great pick. Devontae, you hope he plays. I hope he's okay. I have him in another league. Rome Odunze fine in the starting lineup. I mean, I'm not going to pick Noto here. I think it would be really funny if I did, but I would like to get some games right because I'm 5-10 on the year. So I will pick Omar. And then me and Char is the last matchup. I'm about a 14-point favorite, which is the highest in the league. The only position it looks like that he has projected more points than me is defense, and that's because I had the Titans defense, thought it might be a trap game, dropped them for the Vikings. So in theory, I could have had the little check mark on the advantage on every single position here. I mean, Char's team is really, like, no disrespect. It's really just Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor. Jahmyr Gibbs is really good, but, I mean, he splits everything with David Montgomery. DJ Moore is awesome, but, he's been fine. Zay Flowers is fine. Evan Ingram, we'll see if he gets him back this week. I don't think he will, but maybe. Jalen Waddle and Jaden Reed definitely hurt their QB play. Their QB getting hurt. My side of the matchup, obviously the addition of Kyron was awesome last week. I don't think he's going to repeat it this week against Chicago, but I got to play him. Saquon has been unbelievable, and Jaden Daniels finding his way to the starting lineup again. He looked awesome. Congrats, Commies fans, and congrats to me for drafting him. But, yeah, Jake Ferguson looking pretty solid too. I'm hoping Mike Evans finally gets bounced back, which hopefully he should because the Eagles are trash. They're trash. And J.K. Dobbins, he's been looking awesome. So we'll see. I mean, I'm a 14-point favorite, so I'm going to pick myself here. I know that you guys were like, oh, Jared's picking himself again. Yeah, I am. I'm 2-1. Got to pick myself. But other than that, love you guys. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being good sports. And good luck to everyone this week except Char.